Okay, I want to start off by saying that before I watched Hazbin Hotel, I had already seen a few clips from it, and I was kind of already under the impression that I wasn't gonna like it, and I was right. But I want to be fair, so I'm gonna start off with the stuff that I actually do like about it. The main thing I can appreciate from it is that I feel like it's actually pretty unique, and I can still feel like the personality of the creator, Vivian Madrano, is like still intact in the final product, which you don't always get in a show. That's kind of the main reason I'm making this video, is because it was pretty bad, but like in unique ways that like I hadn't seen in any other show. I also gotta say that it has pretty good animation for a lot of it, and I actually like the art style. I think it fits the show very well. But that's pretty much everything I liked about it, so let's go ahead and get to the stuff that I didn't like about it. Also, I want to add a quick disclaimer here that obviously everything in this video is my opinion. I don't have anything against the creators of the show or the fans of the show. If you do like the show, that's good for you. I'm not trying to change your mind here. It is more of just I had a lot on my mind when I first finished watching the show. If you do like the show, you're welcome to stay, but I'm going to assume that most of you haven't seen it yet and are just curious about what happens in it. For those who don't know, Hazbin Hotel follows the daughter of Lucifer Morningstar, Charlie Morningstar, and her journey to try to redeem the souls in hell and send them to heaven instead, so that they can avoid a yearly mass extermination that the angels in heaven commit on the souls in hell for overpopulation reasons, but also just for like control over them. And I actually don't think that's a bad premise at all. I actually feel like the comedy is the worst part of the show, and I say that because it's 1/3 sex jokes, 1/3 jokes about excessive violence, and then 1/3 just curse words that are supposed to be funny. And ironically, I feel like the constant use of curse words makes it feel more juvenile, almost like a kid that just learned what curse words are for the first time. And I actually do feel like the comedy holds the show back. And I say that because there's an episode where they actually play it more straight and they leave the comedy out of it for the most part, and I feel like that episode immediately becomes better because of it, and it's just disappointing. And it's very annoying too. So now I'm just gonna give my thoughts on a few of the characters before I get into the plot. Charlie Morningstar. She's the main character of the show, and is one of the only optimistic characters in the show, which actually makes her pretty easy to root for in comparison to the other characters. She's the princess of hell, with her dad being Lucifer and her mom being the first woman ever created, which in this universe is a woman named Lilith, who was then replaced by Eve. She opens up the Hazbin Hotel with the hopes of redeeming their guests and sending their souls to heaven instead of being stuck in hell until they eventually get executed by an angel. It's not very successful though. The show explains that it's not successful because they say that everyone in hell is there for a reason and wouldn't want to change their ways in the first place. But at the same time, they show the souls in hell before they get executed and they're terrified. They do not want to die. So I feel like there should be more support for her cause. I actually like that Charlie is so optimistic and cares about her citizens so much. But at the same time, it's pretty weird that she's royalty and not at risk of being exterminated like everyone else, yet she cares more about the citizens than they even care about themselves. And at first I was pretty confused as to why she was so optimistic, considering she literally grew up in hell. But then they do eventually explain that she got it from her dad growing up, but he must have been very different when she was growing up, because they show him in the show and he does not inspire any optimism at all. Also, it's kind of weird that they never even hint at an explanation to what happens when you die, when you're already in hell. Like, is there a super hell or something? Like, they just don't explain it at all. Like, where you go, what happens to your soul. And honestly, it's like, I kind of doubt that the writers even have an explanation in mind. Vaggie. She's Charlie's girlfriend and one of the few that actually supports her cause. She's nice to Charlie, but mean to most other people. And she doesn't have much else going on until later in the show, so I'll leave it at that for now. Angel Dust. Despite having a pretty cool name, he is one of the most obnoxious characters in the show, because around 98% of his dialogue is him making sex jokes.
Call me Whiskers again and I'll jam that bottle down your throat.
Kinky. Come on, keep talking dirty.
And the comedy is an issue I have with the whole show, but he is like the embodiment of this problem. At least the jokes relate to his character though, because he is supposed to be a famous porn star, but that doesn't make the jokes any more bearable. He stays at the Hazbin Hotel, but he does not care about redeeming himself. And I do have to add that his voice is pretty grating to listen to, especially in songs. No hate to the voice actor though, because he just did what they were telling him to do. Alistair. Alistair is a mysterious, powerful demon overlord who helps Charlie with the hotel pretty much just out of boredom, but he's hinted to have ulterior motives. The thing is, he's so mysterious that I don't even know if the writers themselves know what's going on with him. Like, honestly, I think they're just trying to keep him open-ended so they can take him anywhere in the next season. And I will say, though, that he actually has a pretty cool radio effect on his voice, and they should have used it in a few more songs, in my opinion. And I actually kind of do like his design, but I do have to mention he looks almost tailor-made to be like a Tumblr sexy man, which, if you don't know what that is, that's a whole other can of worms, but just know the most popular Tumblr sexy men are like the One Slur from the Lorax, and then like Sans from Undertale. And also the way he talks is like fine for an animated show, but I can just imagine someone trying to talk like him in real life, and it would be so corny, dude.
Alistair, pleasure to be meeting you. Quite a pleasure. I'm about to end your fucking life.
Husk. Husk is the bartender of the hotel and obviously doesn't want to be there, but is only there because he has to be. And I'll explain why later on when I cover the plot. But this makes him pretty passive-aggressive towards pretty much everyone. And he doesn't play that much of an important role episode to episode, so I probably won't be mentioning him too much. But I also do want to mention that he is voiced by Keith David, if that means anything to you. Then we have Nifty. She's supposed to be the maid of the hotel, but I have to legitimately question anyone who likes this character, because she's only there for comic relief, and the jokes that the show makes about her are her being ultra-violent, or her being into bad boys, which is pretty weird considering she looks and acts like she's 8 years old.
I'm the best! I'm ready to punish some bad boys.
Like, why are you making her say all of this weird stuff? In the show, they specify that she's supposed to be 22 years old, but I think they only specify that because she's shown drinking in the show.
Everything's spinning.
I think you're done, Tiny.
If I'm being 100% genuine, I don't think that the creators of the show are into kids or anything like that, but it feels like a side effect of watching like too many anime where they make those weird jokes about underage girls, and then the creators thought, hey, that's a good idea, let me put it in my show. I don't know why they thought that, but they did. Probably the joke I found the most gross about her was when Angel Dust is showing the whole hotel lobby a porno that he's in, and the only one who's into it is, of course, the one who looks like a kid, Nifty.
Classy art.
She actually makes me uncomfortable when she's on screen because I know the type of jokes that the show makes about her. And the show would be way better if they were just more appropriate about her, or if she just wasn't there. Adam. Adam is the first man ever created, and because of that, he gets to go to heaven automatically, despite being an awful person. He is the main villain of Season 1 and the last character I'm going to introduce for now. Every time Adam is on screen, I have the urge to jump into traffic. He is easily the most obnoxious character in the show because he averages at least like 3 curse words per sentence. Like the jokes that they make about Vivzy Pop's writing where between every other word there's a curse word, that's like real for this character. Adam leads Heaven's extermination of hell every year, and he does it because he actually likes killing the souls in hell. So yeah, he's pretty evil. Also, just to add on to how annoying he is, every time he sings there's like a really cheap sounding electric guitar that plays in the background.
Let me stop you right there, save us all precious time. If what you're suggesting is letting them climb.
I actually like it when characters have specific melodies or instruments associated with them. When done well, it can be used to foreshadow something or as like a storytelling technique. Like in Steven Universe, the main characters each have a specific instrument associated with each one of them. And when they get comfortable enough to fuse with each other, the music that plays uses the instruments associated with both of the characters. My issue is that the actual sound of the guitar sounds cheap, and how they use it comes off as very gimmicky to me. Also, since he's supposed to be like an angel or a saint or something, it'd be way cooler if they used an instrument associated with like churches, like an organ, and try to make it sound evil. But that's just me speculating. Like, they could have pulled off the electric guitar idea, but I just think they failed in the execution of it. And before I get into the plot, I do want to talk a little bit more about the music. A lot of the music is very Broadway inspired, which I don't listen to a lot of that type of music, so I'm not the best judge for that. But what I will judge though is the very generic pop music that's present throughout the show. I wasn't a big fan of the music in the show in the beginning, but it gets painfully forgettable by the end. And even the better songs in the beginning are usually ruined for me because the lyrics just use so many curse words, which don't get me wrong, I don't have any problem with curse words in music, but specifically for this type of music, it can sound very awkward depending on how it's said, and the excessive use of them in the songs do make it sound very awkward. Also, I do want to say it is kind of a missed opportunity that they don't even have a theme song for the show. Because, like, technically they do have a theme that plays for the title cards. but they don't have like a proper theme song. And I get why they wouldn't want to waste the time within the episodes, because they only got 8 episodes for the whole season, so their time is like very valuable. But they could have had like an extended version that's like a proper theme song you could look up on YouTube or something. That could have been really cool. And I do have some other thoughts on other songs, but I'll save them for when I get to the episodes where the songs take place. So let's go ahead and get into the plot. Episode 1. So Charlie's dad, Lucifer, needs to go to a meeting in heaven with Adam, but he can't go, so he sends Charlie to go instead of him. Charlie goes trying to propose the idea of redeeming souls in hell to Adam, but Adam explains through a song that not only does he hate the idea, he actually loves killing the souls in hell so much that he's gonna move the next extermination 6 months earlier. So yeah, this guy's just straight up evil. Also, this is gonna sound really absurd, but my roommate pointed this out to me and I had to mention it, that the song that Adam sings in this episode sounds eerily similar to the song The Simple Plot of Metal Gear Solid by Starbomb.
Cause hell is forever, whether you like it or not. Had their chance to behave better, now they boil in the pot. You know we've been through this before with the boy cloud strife, and it's hard to run a contemplated ending my life.
It's different enough that you can't say it's a ripoff, but the chorus sounds pretty similar. And I can tell that Vipsy Pop is probably the type of person who would have been on this side of YouTube back in the day and would have been a fan of this. I want to give the people who made the music the benefit of the doubt here, but it's kind of concerning because this isn't the last time that there's a song that sounds like it took its melody from a different song. And sometimes I do get the impression that they just took melodies from different songs and made a compilation and then called it something new. But I'm going to hope that it's just a coincidence. Episode 2 introduces Angel Dusk's pimp, who is also straight up evil, and this TV guy who's Alistair's old rival. Also, this episode is where they played the only good song in the show.
Hey, but he should have stayed away while he hid in radio. We pivoted to video. Now his medium is getting bloody rare.
I'll admit, that's a banger. The TV guy shows up again after this episode, but he doesn't really contribute anything to the main plot, so I probably won't mention him again after this episode. But then Sir Pentious shows up as an evil spy for the TV guy, but he gets caught, and then he actually speedruns a redemption arc through a song that he sings with Charlie in 1 minute and 28 seconds. I think that's a new record. Sir Pentious is now a resident of the hotel, but sadly he will not be given the same screen time as the other residents. Episode 3 introduces several new characters that represent the controlling powers of the city, and these people are discussing an angel corpse that they've discovered. The fact that angels can be hurt is new information to them that only they know, but one of Sir Pentious's evil minions actually discovers this information, and the information goes back to Sir Pentious. But Sir Pentious doesn't believe him. But more importantly, the information goes back to Alistair, who keeps it to himself for now. I actually got this part slightly wrong. The only thing I messed up is that the information the minion tells Alistair is specifically who killed the angel, which is this woman named Carmilla Carmine. Also, this episode shows Sir Pentious getting closer to the rest of the residents doing trust exercises. Episode 4 focuses on Angel Dust. So Angel Dust goes to work for his pimp / porn director, and the thing is, Charlie wants him to stay at the hotel to help out because they're so busy. But the thing is, I don't find Charlie very convincing here because they're on episode 4 of 8 and they only have one new guest. Like, actually, what are you guys busy with? Like, straight up. Charlie, then feeling entitled because she's the princess of hell, goes to Angel Dust's pimp to ask for him back. But the thing is, she accidentally ruins his shoot, and the pimp gets mad and takes it out on Angel Dust. This is where the show gets really serious and starts showing how badly Angel Dust is abused. Honestly, this might be the best episode just because they leave the comedy out of it for the most part, so that doesn't really get in the way here. Then there's a whole pop song and montage about how Angel Dust is being sexually exploited. I gotta say, this whole montage feels really weird, and it feels like the tone isn't quite right. Like, it feels like it revels in his exploitation in a way that doesn't feel very tastefully done, especially considering how sensitive of a topic it is. But at the same time, if you relate to Angel Dust and found comfort in the song, I'm not trying to take that away from you, that's just my take on it. Then Angel Dust goes back to the hotel and flirts with Husk. And I gotta say that the sexual jokes do feel different after seeing him be abused all day, but they're still pretty obnoxious, especially considering that was one of his only personality traits to begin with. Then Husk insults Angel Dust and Angel Dust goes storming off, and Vaggie makes Husk go track down Angel Dust to see if he's okay. Husk follows Angel Dust to a club and stops him from getting date raped, but Angel Dust is still mad at Husk, and Husk pressures Angel Dust into telling him what's actually going on. Angel Dust then goes on a very on-the-nose speech.
It's not an act. It's who I need to be. And this is my escape.
But Husk actually relates to him and sings him a song to help him feel better. The song is almost not bad, but then the lyrics are really obnoxious, and then Angel Dust joins to sing, and his voice is just so graining.
I got an appetite for sampling every drug and sex toy I can find.
Then they go back to the hotel, and I don't know why, but I find the way that Angel Dust says this line to be really funny.
I think this is yours.
What's up, Doc?
And the episode ends with Angel Dust and Husk going off to get a drink together. I wish that Husk played a more important role in the story, but I will say that his relationship with Angel Dust is a lot more interesting from now on. Episode 5 starts with Charlie being stressed out that the hotel isn't working, so she calls her dad to see if he can arrange another meeting with Heaven. I also want to say that for being Lucifer Morningstar himself, his design is pretty underwhelming. So Lucifer isn't immediately convinced, so Charlie invites him over to see the progress that they made, which isn't very much. And then when Lucifer arrives at the hotel, he pretty much immediately gets into beef with Alistair over pretty much nothing. I guess he just didn't like the cut of his jib. And then they break into a song that sounds suspiciously similar to Other Friends from Steven Universe.
Who needs a busboy now that you got the chef? Michelin tasting menu free, all it got.
What did she say about me? What did she say? What did you do without me? What did you do?
I don't really know if I can give him the benefit of the doubt here because those are both animated musicals, so that makes me really suspicious. Also in this song, Alistair says to Charlie that she's like the daughter he never had and that she can call him dad in front of Lucifer, her real dad. So that's kind of a crazy thing to say. And how does Lucifer respond to this? With a crazy violin solo, of course.
You could almost call me Dad.
Also, this song kind of devolves at the end. I don't know if it's because they were trying to differentiate it from the songs that they were inspired by, but it makes the song way worse in my opinion. Then Alistair's ex Mimsy shows up and starts talking about how powerful Alistair is and how he used to take down powerful overlords back in the day. Then they revealed that Alistair actually owns Husk's soul and keeps him on a leash. So that's why Husk is there even though he doesn't want to be there. And then they revealed that Mimsy was actually on the run from a gang and just went to the hotel because she wanted protection from Alistair. Alistair does protect her, but then he kicks her out of the hotel for bringing danger to the hotel.
You are welcome if you actually want to give redemption a shot.
And usually I like it when characters aren't all evil or all good, but I don't really have faith in this show to explain away Alistair's weird behavior because they just revealed that he owns Husk's soul, but now they're saying that I guess he believes in the hotel and in redemption, I guess. They could do something interesting with that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Then Lucifer sings a song with Charlie about how he actually tried what Charlie's doing before, and he just doesn't want Charlie to get hurt like he was, but Charlie convinces him to let her try. I also want to add, I really don't like the sound of this song, like at all.
More than anything, more than anything.
The episode ends with Charlie getting a meeting in heaven for herself and for Vaggie, but Vaggie seems apprehensive to go. I wonder why that is. Episode 6 starts with Charlie and Vaggie going to heaven, but not before pairing Cherry Bomb, who's Angel Dust's friend, to take everyone out for the night. I guess this is probably because she doesn't want anyone causing a ruckus at the hotel while she's gone, but that's just me assuming because they don't really give a reasoning in the show. When they go to heaven, the angels talk pretty much the same way they do in hell, which I find pretty corny.
Oh, fuck, yeah, hoo.
And they sing a song to welcome them to heaven, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is the type of music that hurts me to listen to.
Welcome to heaven, oh, where the virtuous reside 24/7, oh.
I think they might have actually made it bad on purpose though, to make fun of the type of music that they would play in heaven. At least I hope they made it bad on purpose. Then Adam talks to Vaggie on her own and reveals to the audience that she's actually an angel who used to exterminate souls in hell until she had a change of heart. And Adam threatens to reveal this information to Charlie and ruin their relationship. Why did Vaggie have a change of heart? They actually do not give a reason for this in the show. They just want you to believe that she's the one nice angel that doesn't like killing souls in hell. Even though you can assume that she's been brainwashed into thinking that they're fighting for a good cause like every other angel. But I don't know, I guess she's just the exception for no reason. Then they discuss in heaven whether a soul can be redeemed or not in pretty much a court setting. Charlie tries to use angel dust as an example of a soul on the path to redemption, but it doesn't work because when they spot on what angel dust is doing, Cherry Bomb convinces him to drink and take drugs. I legitimately think they should have used Serpentius as an example of a soul on the path to redemption here, because when they spot on what they're doing, Serpentius buys everyone in the club a drink and a shot because he's trying to make a good impression on Cherry Bomb, who's his former rival, by the way, but now he's developed a crush on her. So he literally buys everyone a drink and a shot just to make a good impression on her. Like, if they used him as an example of a soul on the path to redemption, they would have been solid. I legitimately think the only reason they didn't use him as an example is because the writers wanted to keep him as a joke character, and they wanted to give Angel Dust more screen time. So even though it doesn't make sense in the universe, they just use Angel Dust instead. I think they're just doing Serpentius dirty here. Also, back at the club, they make a rape joke here at the expense of Serpentius again, which is rich coming from the show that has a character whose whole arc is focused on him being sexually abused, who also steps into frame as this rape joke happens. After this, Angel Dust loses track of Nifty, who ends up talking to Angel Dust's pimp, who happens to be at the club. And what actually ends up being probably my favorite Angel Dust moment in the show, he actually stands up to his pimp and says that he may own his soul, but to leave his friends out of their business. Back to the court case in heaven. This act of selflessness wins the favor of the court, but then there's this dispute where they reveal that no one in heaven actually knows what qualifies them to be there, except probably this one boss angel lady. This leads into a song that, while not as bad as the last one, is extremely hectic with conversations almost overlapping each other and the tempo constantly changing, making it feel pretty awkward for me. Also in this song, Charlie wins over an angel named Emily who seems like they would be a big deal, but they don't ever come back for the rest of the season, so I guess that might matter next season. Also at the end of this song, Adam exposes to Charlie that Vaggie is an angel in disguise. Honestly, I think they should have saved the reveal to the audience for this moment, so that the audience feels the shock of this revelation alongside Charlie. But I see why they didn't, because there's a ton of new stuff going on in this one song, and that might be a little too much information to process at once. Also, the song ends with some extremely dramatic violins that legit almost sound like a NF type beat. Charlie and Vaggie get thrown back into hell, and they also end the episode with a suggestion that if you question the way things work in heaven, you will be sent to hell like Lucifer was. Which is exactly the type of edgy stuff I would expect from this show. Episode 7 starts with Charlie feeling bad for herself, and in a moment of desperation, she accepts a deal with Alistair, where in exchange for a favor where she won't have to hurt anyone, he tells her that Camilla Carmine knows how to kill the angels. Vaggie comes into the room concerned and then says that she didn't know it was possible to hurt the angels. This is probably the biggest plot hole in the show because last episode they showed a flashback where Vaggie got badly wounded by another angel's spear. So she should know for a fact that angel weaponry works against other angels. It should not be possible that she just forgot what happened. It feels like the writers really didn't care about the plot when it comes to Vaggie. Also, at this point, they pretty much prepared for war, and I was kind of disappointed they gave up on the idea of the hotel where they redeem souls and went in the direction where it's now just an all-out war. Alistair and Charlie recruit an army of cannibals from Cannibal Town while Vaggie searches out Camilla Carmine to see how she killed the angel. Camilla Carmine explains that using their own angelic weapons against them is the key, and that she'll win if she fights in the name of love. She also inexplicably grows back her wings at the end of the song. During this, Charlie is talking to the Overlord in Cannibal Town about her being mad at Vaggie for hiding the fact that she was an angel. I'm glad they actually follow up on the reveal of Vaggie being an angel with Charlie doubting different aspects of their relationship, but then realizing that their love for each other was always real, even if she comes to this realization very quickly. Then Charlie sings a song to convince the people of Cannibal Town to fight for her. The song has several instrumental changes and has a part in the middle that sounds like an old-timey war march. It kind of reminds me of the march from Captain America. I actually like it. I think it sounds pretty cool.
It's time now to act. They're on the attack. When they move to strike, we will fight, fighting back.
I like it, but I'm not a big fan of the rest of the song. This episode ends with Charlie and Vaggie meeting up at the hotel again and making up. They also find that the rest of the guys have been making fortifications to the hotel while they were gone, which was awfully nice of them. Episode 8 starts with everyone at the hotel preparing to fight along the cannibal army. Surprisingly, Cherry Bomb stays to fight, but she says this is just because she can't resist a good fight. Charlie gives a speech about how they're gonna have a big fight tomorrow, so they should live tonight however they want. That night, Serpentius tries to confess his love for Cherry Bomb, but he gets flustered and fumbles. It's alright, Serpentius, you'll get her next time. And then surprisingly, Angel Dust is a W wingman for my man Serpentius.
You know, I hear he's got 2 dicks.
I also want to quickly note that they have some really pleasant background music for this part of the episode. Then Charlie and Vaggie sing a new version of the song that Charlie sang with her dad earlier about how much they love each other. Look, I like musical motifs for narrative purposes, but I don't get why they chose to repeat this song in this moment. Cause like, what does her dad have to do with her relationship with Vaggie? It would have been a lot cooler if they had their own theme for when Charlie's with Vaggie, and then they made a song out of that in this moment. I don't know why they repeated this song in particular. Then the big fight happens. Also, the TV guy from episode 2 comes back for a few short scenes where he watches the fight happen from a distance with Angel Dusk's pimp. Would you look at that, he did come back. These scenes pretty much only serve as comic relief, and I gotta say, there's not one funny bone in the whole writer's room.
Oh, fuck! I am so hard right now!
Back to the fight, Adam has a one-on-one fight with Alistair, who seems pretty confident that he's gonna win. However, he gets wiped. Gotta say, it's very stupid that Alistair didn't come to this fight with like an angelic spear or something, especially considering he's the first one as a group to find out that angels could be hurt in the first place. Like, did he forget about that? Adam starts wiping out more of the cannibal army, and then Serpentius realizes that he has to step up and do something about it. Hyping himself up for his final attack, he makes a move on Cherry Bomb.
I'm trying to fight here. You out of your fucking mind?
Yes! Miss Cherry Bomb, I love you! Remember me!
That was kind of hot.
I've gotta say, I've never been more proud of him. He readies himself in his old battleship and prepares for his attack on Adam.
That could have been ugly.
Why'd they kill the goat off like that, man? And it was so nonchalant too. Like, he could have been a good member of the main cast, but the show just kept pushing him to the side for no reason, just to make him a joke character. And they even treated his death like a joke. Like, and now he's dead. Rest in peace, the goat. Anyways, Serpentius' death angers Charlie enough to go directly after Adam, while Vaggie takes care of Adam's #1 angel warrior. Vaggie has an intense fight with the angel that honestly has some pretty good moments in it, but it ends with Vaggie sparing the angel's life, which is pretty out of character for this show and for this character. But it seems like she only spared her life to humiliate her, which I guess that's the reasoning for it. But it's pretty dumb considering she's already killed several angels and they're in an active battlefield. So now is not the time to spare the life of one of the enemy's strongest soldiers. Look, I think Vaggie is far from one of the worst characters on the show, but it's like the plot makes less sense the more that she speaks. It's so weird. As to be expected, Vaggie tries to help Charlie in her fight against Adam, but the angel that she spared the life of immediately comes back and starts fighting again. Luckily for Charlie though, her dad Lucifer comes in clutch to save the day. However, he enters with a joke that actually hurt me to sit through.
See, you messed with my daughter, and now I am going to fuck you!
Well, this just got interesting.
Lucifer is the king of hell, so it makes sense that he's really powerful and slams Adam. But it doesn't make sense that he wasn't there earlier, because like he's showing to care about Charlie, and I'm pretty sure he knew the fight was going on. So like I don't know why he wasn't there to begin with. He could have saved Serpentius' life. Realistically though, the show just wanted to have this cool moment and hope that we wouldn't question it. Then they do the same exact thing where they're about to kill him, but then Charlie stops her dad and is like, "Whoa, Dad, he's had enough." They just did the same exact thing 2 minutes ago with the angel. It was stupid then and it's stupid now. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love it when the show has a good moral of the story where the good guy doesn't stoop to the level of the bad guy and shows him mercy. I love that stuff. But the thing is, this show is trying to do that without creating characters that would actually do that. So it feels like the characters are acting out of character so they can play out the moral of the story that the writers want to inject in there. At this point, the show should just commit to the idea that some of these characters are bad people who will kill others. despite what Charlie or any of the writers want them to do. If I'm getting really crazy here, imagine if Lucifer had to stop Charlie from killing Adam because Adam's an important figure in heaven, and it's for more political reasons that they can't kill Adam. But then Adam says something like, I'll just come back with more angels and take more souls, and then Charlie in her anger kills Adam anyways. That would change how a lot of characters view Charlie, and she might later regret it in season 2. Either way, it's a lot more interesting than what actually happens. Which is that they spare Adam, and then while Adam is weak, he gives a supervillain type speech, which ends with him being stabbed in the back and killed by Nifty of all people. I guess the writers just wanted Adam to be killed by a joke character so they don't make any of their main characters look bad. Who are these people the writers don't want to make look bad again? Oh yeah, Lucifer and his demon daughter Charlie. They end off with a song about Serpentius' sacrifice, rebuilding the hotel, and it touches up on all the other characters we've been missing out on. This includes the TV guy and Angel Dusk's pimp singing about taking control of hell. It's kind of insane to me that these guys weren't the main villains of season 1, especially because we see on screen in episode 4 how Angel Dust is abused by his pimp, and that's still unresolved. Like, he's still getting abused by his pimp daily. Also, Alistair implies that he's going to be up to some mischievous schemes in the future, but he returns to the hotel like nothing ever happened. So we'll see what he's scheming up in season 2 maybe. After this song, they reveal that the GOAT survived. Serpentius, after being killed, actually became the first soul in hell to be redeemed and got sent to heaven. I gotta admit, that's really cool. That had me popping off when I first saw it. And it actually does prove that souls in hell can be redeemed and sent to heaven. So there's like an actual narrative shift that takes place here at the end of the season. Also, at the very, very end, they reveal that Charlie's mom Lilith has been in heaven the whole time. In conclusion, I have kind of a mixed relationship with this show. I mean, I can honestly say this is the first show I've ever hate watched, and I actually watched through it a second time in order to make this video. I wouldn't call myself a fan of the show, but at this point you wouldn't be wrong to call me a little obsessed with it. Obviously, there are parts of the show I find fascinating. I mean, I wrote this whole 6,508 word script on it, but I do not think that it deserves nearly as much praise as it's been getting. And obviously, a lot of people overhate it, but it's been getting overhyped like crazy at the same time. At the same time, I do think that the main appeal for a lot of fans is the characters, the art, and the music. So that's probably why the plot holes aren't mentioned that much, because they're not there for the plot anyways. I don't really see the appeal of a lot of the characters, but the art has its cool moments for sure. And if you're into that type of music, then I can see how you could look past the atrocious comedy and other faults of the show maybe. I feel like my favorite art comes from when artists are completely honest about themselves and put themselves into their work. I feel like this applies to music, to shows, and like to movies and pretty much everything. And I would not call Hazbin Hotel one of my favorite shows, but weirdly enough, I feel like it has this aspect to it where I feel like the creator is being honest about herself, and the end result kind of feels like a window into her head. I think she pulled this off because you could tell that she had a role to play in every aspect of the show, like the art, the music, the characters, the humor, everything. You could tell that she had some input in it. And usually when an artist pulls this off, I feel like I don't always agree with everything they have to say, but I think the end result feels a lot more personal and it's a lot better because of it. This feels like an extreme example though, where I got to see inside of her head and I didn't agree with almost anything that I found. In a weird way, I find a lot of the show kind of charming now, but I still don't think it's a good quality show. If you like the video, I would appreciate a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.
What the fuck?